Fair Warning is the fourth studio album by American hard rock band Van Halen. Released on April 29, 1981, it sold more than 2 million copies, but was still the band's slowest-selling album of the David Lee Roth era. Despite the album's commercially disappointing sales, Fair Warning was met with mostly positive reviews from critics. The album was listed by Esquire as one of the 75 albums every man should own. Packaging. The cover artwork features a detail from The Maze, a painting by Canadian artist William Kulick which depicts his tortured youth. The album's cover artwork is accompanied by an insert of a black and white picture of the band, as well as a view of a ghetto drywall with a wire running across it, cracked windows at the top and a Roth-era Van Halen logo with plaster cracked over the left wing. Also on the wall is a lyric from the album's opening song, Mean Street. Reception. The Village Voice's Robert Christgau rated Fair Warning a B, signifying a competent and mildly interesting record that will usually feature at least 3 worthwhile cuts. Quote, he stated that it featured not just Eddie's latest sound effects, but a few good jokes along with the mean ones and a rhythm section that can handle punk speed emotionally and technically. Quote, he also explained that, at times Eddie could even be said to play an expressive, lyrical role. Of course, what he's expressing is hard to say. Technocracy putting a partner on cynicism. A retrospective review by AllMusic's Stephen Thomas Erlewine found the album fairly positive. In the review, he initially stated that it's a dark, strange beast, partially because it lacks any song as purely fun as the hits from the first 3 records, and that, whatever the reason, Fair Warning winds up as a dark, dirty, nasty piece of work. Quote, he went on to say that, dull it is not, and Fair Warning contains some of the fiercest, hardest music that Van Halen ever made. There's little question that Eddie Van Halen won whatever internal skirmishes they had, even with the lack of a single dedicated instrumental showcase. He concluded that nastiness is the defining characteristic of Fair Warning, which certainly doesn't make it bunches of fun, but it showcases the coiled power of Van Halen better than any other album, which makes it worth visiting on occasion. The Rolling Stone album guide, however, gave the album 2.5 stars out of 5, stating that the most significant musical development is the synthesizer introduced at the end of Fair Warning, which would be exploited to greater effect on later albums. Legacy. In the video game Guitar Hero Van Halen, 4 of the 9 tracks of Fair Warning are available for play. Mean Street, Hear About It Later, Unchained, and So This Is Love. Track listing. All music and lyrics written by Edward Van Halen, Alex Van Halen, Michael Anthony and David Lee Roth. On the original LP and cassette versions, Side 2 begins with Unchained. Personnel. David Lee Roth, lead vocals. Eddie Van Halen, guitar, synthesizers, backing vocals. Alex Van Halen, drums. Michael Anthony, bass guitar, backing vocals. Production. Producer, Ted Templeman. Engineers, Don Landy, Gene Maros. Remastering, Chris Bellman, Greg Geller. Project Coordinator, Joe Motta. Art Direction, Richard Cyrene. Design, Pete Angelus. Cover design, Pete Angelus. Cover artwork, From the Maze by William Kulick. Photography, Greg Gorman, Neil Zalozo. Inlay photography, Greg Gorman. Certifications, charts, album Billboard singles.